So you're looking for some tips for defenders to help you perform better in matches. Well, you've come to the perfect video because today I'm going to give you 5 tips that are going to help you excel in matches as a defender. What's up guys, Dave here from SimplySoccer, where we help you to improve your game and stand out on the pitch. And on this channel we release daily soccer tips, technique, training methods, along with live videos as well to help you improve your game. So if you haven't subscribed, make sure you do, and also make sure you hit that bell icon so you don't miss any of our videos or live streams. So although they don't get all the accolades and they don't get all of the highlight reels, defenders are incredibly important for any team. If you have weak defenders who don't do a good job defensively, you're going to concede a ton of goals, and that's going to cause you to lose a lot of matches. So it is essential that if you are a defender, you're doing the best you possibly can for your team. So in this video, I'm going to give you 5 tips and 5 ideas to think about in order to be a better defender. Okay, so first idea is positioning, and this is probably one of the most important ideas you need to get a grasp of if you are a defender. If you are a defender who has no positional sense, doesn't know when they need to move over, doesn't know when they need to try and set an offside trap, doesn't know where they need to be on the pitch at any time, it's super dangerous for your team because you are almost literally the last line of defense, before the goalkeeper. Meaning if you're caught out of position, that gives a striker an opportunity to get through on goal. That gives us an opportunity for one of your opponents to make a run into the space that you should be occupying. So number one, I always recommend for defensive players is make sure you are positionally intelligent and that you are always aware of where you need to be in any given situation on the pitch. One of the most frustrating things, again, and you can see this even in the professional game, where commentators will say his positional sense isn't that great, he's always caught out of position. We want to prevent that if we want to be a good defender. So look up videos on how to play your position and where you need to be in certain situations and really study it so you know exactly what you need to be doing when a certain situation arises, what you need to be doing generally, and all of that. This will help your game so much. I think that, 80 to 90% of defending is being in the right positions. Number 2 is timing. And what I mean by this is when you should go in for a tackle, when you should hold back. When should you make that sliding tackle? When should you possibly even make that strategic foul? Timing is going to be incredibly important because sometimes you're going to have to back off the player that's coming at you. An example of this is if you're 2-on-1. You're not going to exactly be able to go in unless you have a great chance of getting the ball. But if you dive in and he easily plays the other player, you're suddenly out of the game. Sometimes you're going to need to contain the attacker. Sometimes you are going to need to dive in and try and get there first. Sometimes you're going to need to be right up against them and not let them turn. Other times you're not going to be able to do that because you have to track a runner. So you need to learn timing and in which situations you should be going in, which situations you should be backing off and containing and waiting for help. And this is really important because if you become a rash defender that, say, goes in every single time, you're going to get players who turn you and leave you in the dust. And if you are a defender who backs off way too often, you're going to get players that turn and then run right at you and take advantage of that. So learn when you should be going in for the tackle, learn when you need to back off. It really comes down to decision making, which we're going to cover in a second. But before we cover that, we're going over number 3, which is don't take unnecessary risks. There's nothing worse than a defender who makes a terrible, terrible mistake which leads to a goal. And one of the worst is keeping the ball in possession way too long instead of just clearing it. Look, you will be forgiven if you just boot the ball out when you're under pressure. Sometimes you just can't dribble out and you can't pass your way out. Now, I know a lot of teams do this, but if you have 2 players closing you down and if they get the ball, they're going to move in on goal and possibly score, you just clear that ball up the field. When in doubt, kick it out is the saying. Now, of course, this is not something you should always be doing. You do want some composure. You do want to remain calm in most situations, but never be afraid to do that because you do not want to take any unnecessary risks at the back. That's one of the big differences, I think, between attackers and defenders. An attacker can take some risks. They can try and take some players on. They can try and do some things that might be a little more risky. Because if they lose the ball, it's not as big a deal. They get more opportunities, but if you lose the ball at the back and suddenly you have the other team's attacker bearing down on your goal, that's a bit of an unforgivable mistake because it can end up in a goal. So you have to recognize that as a defender, you need more discipline and don't take many unnecessary risks. Again, I'm not saying you need to be rigid and never be calm and never try and pass out of the back or dribble out of the back. There are times for that. But don't take unnecessary risks. Have discipline and know when to do certain things. And that brings us to number 4, which is decision making, which is kind of something I've touched upon already, but your decision making is really going to determine whether you are a great defender, a good defender, or an atrocious defender. The worst defenders are the defenders that make poor decisions most of the time. This means they tackle when they shouldn't be. They back off when they shouldn't. They're out of position. They don't remain calm and they panic. Make sure you are remaining calm because a lot of your decision making is going to come from your level of confidence. It's going to come from your experience because the more you're involved in certain situations, the more used to doing the right thing you're going to be. This will also come from studying the game and knowing what to do, but your confidence and how calm you are is going to play a big part in your decision making, so make sure that you're working on that area as well. But essentially, I just want to mention that if your decision making is poor, you really need to work on this area because, again, as a defender, you can't be making too many mistakes because if you do, the price is severe. Again, for a forward or a winger, them making a mistake like a bad cross or maybe a shot that's wild and off target, it's not great, but it's not like a risk that's really gonna cost their team too much. But if you make a mistake, say like you try and dribble out of the back and you're dispossessed, that's a mistake that can lead to a counterattack and possibly a goal for the other team. So make sure that you are working on your decision making. Make sure you know when there's the risk to be taken and when you just shouldn't. Know when you should be passing the ball and when you shouldn't. Know when you need to sometimes just clear the ball out and maybe when you shouldn't and you should be a little more composed. But the big thing is know and make good decisions and learn what good decision making looks like because as a defender, there really is very little wiggle room to be making those kind of mistakes. And number 5 on this tip list is be aggressive. Now, I really want to make sure I explain this because I don't mean you're going out to hurt people. I mean you're just being aggressive. I mean like you're jockeying the forward. You're not letting him turn. You're going in hard but fair. I'm never going to encourage a player to ever actually try and hurt a player. I think that's disgusting. It does not belong in the sport. I'm not telling you to wrap your studs around someone's ankle or knee or anything like that. But you can still be aggressive without doing that. Always be on. Always be engaged as your defender. Go in hard. Jostle the striker a little bit. Shoulder charge him if it's appropriate to do it in that situation. When you are going for the ball, go for it. Don't half-ass it. Don't go in 50%. Go 100% and try and win the ball if you're going for the ball. If you've made the decision to go in for the tackle. Again, reiterating, you are not trying to hurt anyone and you are not doing that. You are not going in aggressively in order to get the man. You are always going for the ball, but if you are going to commit, commit. Don't be someone who goes in for a tackle 50% and gets the ball but still doesn't win the tackle because you only went in half-heartedly. So you can be aggressive as a defender. You can, really, go in hard but fair. You can really close people down quickly, not let them turn, do little pushes, do little things like that as well. But again, you're not trying to hurt anyone. You're just trying to be a good defender. So definitely up your aggressiveness. You don't want a soft defender at the back. You don't want a defender that's easily pushed around by the strikers because you will get that. There will be strikers who will be pushing you around. They'll be shoulder charging you too. They'll be playing all the little tactics as well. So you need to be tough when you're back there at the back. Okay, because again, you are pretty much that last line of defense before the goalkeeper. All right, guys, so those are just some ideas to think about if you are a defender. We will do some more defender videos in the future because I know I haven't really covered that topic that much on the channel yet, so we'll definitely, I'll definitely be trying to do some more demonstration kind of things. I just picked these 5 things because I think they're very important to remember and to incorporate, and if you start working on these things, things like your decision making, things like your aggressiveness and things like this, and you start applying them to your game, I have no doubt that you're going to start becoming a better defender. All right, guys, so question of the day is, out of the 5 things I mentioned, which one do you need to work on the most? Let me know in the comments down below and let me know why that's the one you need to work on. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching the video. Make sure you share it with a friend or teammate. You subscribe if you're new and you like this video. Now, for all of you who haven't already, make sure you hit the bell icon. That should be next to the subscribe button if you're on a computer. If you're on a tablet or phone, it's a little different. It'll be somewhere, but it looks like like a bell. Make sure you click that, and that is so every time you release a video, you will be notified. And also, we did our first live stream the other day. Every time you click that bell, or if you click that bell, it'll also notify you when we go live so you don't miss it. Okay, so thank you guys once again. As always, I will put 2 videos up on the screen. Make sure you come back tomorrow at 5 p.m. for a brand new video. And remember, this is Simply Soccer, where we're helping you to improve your game and stand out on the pitch. Thanks once again, guys, for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.